to this edition of News Brief. Let's get you caught up on the news you need to know this week. Unleaded avgas could be widely available within 3 years or 8 years, or we could have it now. It really just depends on who you listen to. And Congress listened to a bunch of different opinions last month, including AOPA's. But let's be honest, the House Environment Subcommittee and its chairman had an agenda. It was right there in the title, Toxic Air, How Leaded Aviation Fuel is Poisoning America's Children.
I'm holding this hearing today because I'm outraged that our federal agencies have failed to prevent lead poisoning near small general aviation airports. The Federal Aviation Administration has chosen a path of delay, holding up the approval of a lead-free alternative fuel for no stated reason. The fossil fuel industry and other special interests have also sought to delay the phase-out of leaded aviation fuel.
Chairman Khanna's district includes Reed-Hillview Airport, which has already banned the sale of 100 low-lead avgas. AOPA President Mark Baker told the committee in written testimony that AOPA and the aviation industry are committed to removing lead from aviation fuel as soon as possible. And that's confirmed by Swift Fuel's CEO, Chris DeAcosta, who said, "We applaud AOPA for championing the efforts towards a safe and smart transition to unleaded avgas. Swift already has an approved 94-octane no-lead fuel."
Swift Fuels is working towards a 3-year timeline for full fleet-wide approval of our highest octane fuel. Swift Fuels is actively working full throttle with the proprietary certification program for the 100-octane replacement of low lead. We collaborate daily with the FAA. There are no obstacles. There are no obstructions from our ability to deliver on projects.
So Swift says 3 years, no obstacles. But GAMI told the committee it has a 100-octane fuel that will work today in all engines if only the FAA would get out of the way.
It's not a solution in 8 or 9 or 10 years like the FAA's proposed to spend another $115 million taxpayer dollars if they can talk Congress into funding a search for a solution to a problem for which the solution has already been found and approved by the cognizant FAA engineers. FAA management is not listening to their highly experienced engineers that have told them this project's ready for signature.
Braley also told Congress that no one had done more than AOPA to help move the industry to an unleaded fuel solution. You can read Mark's testimony to Congress on our website. Well, lots of you have opinions about unleaded avgas. We are a group of pilots, right? And you also have opinions about the weather services you get from the government. We asked what you think. In fact, it was our sixth survey for you. So here's what you told us. Most of you aren't familiar with the FAA's Advisory Circular 91-92 on pre-flight self-briefing, but this is a really important one you need to know about because most of you get your weather briefings through apps or online. Now, you also told us that you'd use flight service more if it offered digital communication like text and screen sharing, and you'd like it if the FAA would expand its Alaska Weather Cam program and include all of the lower 48 states. I'm with you on that one. I've flown in Alaska, love the weather cams, and I wish we had them, especially in West Virginia where I do a lot of flying over different parts of the mountains there. Now, there's more, of course, and you can read about it all on our website. Well, weather is certainly having an impact this summer, even on airports, and this time in Death Valley. A 1,000-year rain event washed out roads and an airstrip. This is what's left of Chicken Strip. It's the last airstrip in the area. It's maintained by the Recreational Aviation Foundation, and they're putting the word out to avoid it for now. The runway may not look heavily damaged, but the park and roads are closed, so there's no way for rescue crews to get in if there's an accident. The RAF will announce a workday soon to fix up Chicken Strip. Now, General Aviation is stepping up to serve those impacted by the flooding in Kentucky. Operation Airdrop is providing mutual aid to the ground force by Cajun Navy. They're a boat and ground-based volunteer service organization. Airdrop is not ramping up to a full relief supply flight operation for this event, but it is assisting with specific missions as requested. There's always a call out for donations for the people affected. You can find out more on the Operation Airdrop website and their Facebook page. I'm sure you've seen this story on national news. a frantic search for a missing teen in California. Kylie Rodney disappeared near Lake Tahoe on August 6th. A number of GA pilots in the area are volunteering their airplanes and time to help in the search of the 16-year-old. They've been up flying search grids for several days. Here's a poster. If you have any information, you're urged to call authorities. AOPA is working to make flight training as efficient and enjoyable as possible for students and instructors and flight school owners. One of the ways we are doing that is with the AOPA Flight Training Advantage app, or AFTA for short. This week we have a video all about what it's like to use AFTA during a real flight lesson. CFI Chris Moser takes us through how AFTA is used to help make the pre-flight brief, flight lesson, and post-flight brief as seamless as possible. You can watch the video on our YouTube channel or read more about AFTA on our website. We'll be back in a moment.
So when I'm working, flying an airline jet, I use Bose ProFlight. The ProFlight changed the comfort level. It's so light I never take it off my head.
Welcome back. The NTSB has just released its preliminary report on that Las Vegas midair. It pretty much confirms what our own Richard McSpadden concluded in his early analysis of that accident 3 weeks ago. A Cessna 172 was doing touch and goes on the right runway at North Las Vegas Airport. Approach cleared a Piper Mirage to cross midfield and make a left pattern for the left runway. The Piper pilot acknowledged the clearance but lined up on 30 right instead of 30 left. The Piper and Cessna collided. All 4 people aboard the 2 aircraft died. Well, up in northern Nevada, the Reno Air Race is just over a month away, and every year, teams work hard to make their airplanes as fast as possible. Pete Zaccagnino is already a 4-time winner, but is preparing to race again this year in Just Lucky, his Aero L29 Delphine.
For this year's races, the speed brakes will come off, we're going to take the back seat out, and we're going to do a little weight reduction. So we have a little bit more to do to the plane, but it's race ready right now. We just are looking for a few more knots.
Pete is also preparing Coming in Hot, a Lancair Super Legacy. You can read more about Pete and his airplanes in the September issue of AOPA Pilot Magazine. And you won't want to miss our first fly-in of the year to Feltsfield in Spokane, Washington, September 9th and 10th. Feltsfield is home to a vibrant aviation community. Don't miss the incredible collection of historic airplanes at the Historic Flight Foundation. There's also a diner on the field called Skyway Cafe. It's a perfect spot for a $100 hamburger. And if you head to downtown Spokane, you'll find the largest urban waterfall in the United States, amazing restaurants, and scenic riverfront park. You can sign up for the event on our website. Backcountry flying is all the rage right now, and the Cub Crafters models are some of the most popular backcountry airplanes. The company offers the Part 23 certified X Cub, the Light Sport Carbon Cub SS, the Factory Build Assist FX series, and Experimental Kit EX series. Well, the company just announced a new engine and prop combination for the Carbon Cub EX and FX series. You can get the airplane with a Lycoming CC 363i engine and a ground adjustable prop.
A lot of customers wanted a simpler to fly airplane. This is grassroots aviation, and the constant speed prop is like having a transmission on the airplane. You can go faster, you can do cross-country missions better, but the simplicity and the ease of a fixed pitch propeller where you only have one less control in the cockpit to deal with was appealing to a lot of customers.
And we have a video about what it's like to fly the airplane on our YouTube channel. That's it for this week. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We do like hearing from you, and we hope to see you back here next Friday. Thanks for watching.
I'm a full-time filmmaker, and I integrate a lot of flying in with that and primarily produce film and videos around aviation. So I've got about 1,700 hours, about maybe 300 or 400 of that is dual given. My ratings are a commercial airplane single engine land, and then I'm a CFII and just recently got my tailwheel. So I use SiriusXM weather hands down all the time on ForeFlight. We were doing performance testing off the coast of Florida, and we needed unrestricted climbs with no clouds above us, and we needed unrestricted descents, no clouds below us. And we actually used the cloud layer that SiriusXM feeds to the iPad, and it was shockingly accurate. I really tend to gravitate toward using SiriusXM in the cockpit because of the resolution of data that it's providing me. I mean, when I'm looking at NEXRAD or weather on the horizon or satellite cloud layers, anything like that, the resolution of the image that it's giving me is so much higher and so much more frequent than ADS-B, especially when you're operating in an IFR environment.